He ran with a pretty tough crowd, I think. And a skinny kid named Seth Meyers was in his posse. And so I've been real lucky to hear the stories about Seth over the years and the funny things they did and how old Bedford was and, before all the yuppies movement. So I wanted to give Seth the opportunity to be introduced by someone who knows him really well. So I'm going to introduce Greg and the next one. Greg?
So a good friend of mine, Drew, texted me the other day, and he said, if you're nervous when you get out there, just picture everyone in the audience naked. And I thought that was a really good idea, and then my dad called me today to say when the time was, and I quickly threw that idea. My name is Greg Henrichon, and I was called by the BEF a few weeks ago to do the introduction tonight. And of course, I graciously accepted. I've been best friends with Seth since we were in 4th grade, and this is an amazing event. But I have to say that the days leading up to tonight, I started getting a lot of calls, texts, emails. I'd see people in the store, and everyone said, "Hey, are you ready? You have the big speech." I'm like, dude, I was just asked to introduce him. It's not that big a deal. But I started, get a little nervous, and then today, as I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about all of the people that were going to be here tonight, some of my best friends in town, new friends, old friends, some ex-teachers, most of whom probably don't like me very much, my parents, Seth's parents, his family, Seth, I even have coworkers here. I did start to get a little bit nervous, and it's not usually my gig. So I did what any normal person would do. I started drinking. But seriously, don't worry, I drink all the time. And I got this. This is good. So Seth and I were best childhood friends, and you know what? We've remained good friends throughout the years. Probably as good of friends as you could be, considering our vastly different lives. And when I say vastly different, well, let me spell it out for you. I am embarrassed to say that I still live in Bedford. I just love it. I can't get away from this place. It's awesome. I have 3 children, 10, 8, and 6, wonderful children that are growing up through the Bedford school system, as I did.
Yeah.
I have an amazing wife of nearly 13 years who's in the audience tonight, Ashley.
Woo!
And all in all, life is pretty good. But you know what? I used to be cool at one point in my life. I know that if you're 38 years old, which I am, and you live in the same town that you grew up in, you're a loser. I accept it. Seth, on the other hand, also grew up in Bedford. He has gone on to bigger and better things. He lives in Manhattan. He is the head writer for Saturday Night Live. He is the host and star of Weekend Update. He has hosted the ESPYs a couple of times, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He's been in magazines and movies, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Seth is anything but a loser. In fact, I will go one step further. Seth is the coolest thing that has ever happened to the town of Bedford. It's true. I am more than qualified to say that because I have never left. I know everything that's ever happened here. Seth's the coolest. However, I was asked to tell a funny story about our childhood. And ironically, for this story, the shoe was on the other foot. I was pretty damn cool at one point. And Seth, well, you know, I was touch and go there for a while. So for this story, I'm going to dial it back a few years. The 1983-84 school year. I was in the 4th grade. I was in Mrs. Zito's class over at Mrs. Zito's class over at Memorial, which used to be 3rd and 4th grade here in town for everybody. And, you know, that was pretty cool. There was a new kid in class that year, just moved from the Pittsburgh area. Seemed like a good guy. He liked sports, traded baseball cards, he's a good artist, pretty funny. And I had gotten to know him a little bit through the first couple of weeks of school, because we were in the same reading class. Advanced. Sorry, allergies. So we were in an accelerated reading class, and we're wicked smart. But I noticed after a few weeks of being in school that he wasn't really hanging out with the coolest kids in the 4th grade. So I thought I'd intervene. And one morning we were in the back of class and we were hanging up our jeans jackets. I said, Seth, come here. He walked over. I said, look, the guys you're hanging out with, losers. If you want to be cool, you gotta hang out with this guy. So, the rest is history. We went on to become great friends, and here I am tonight. Now, I don't want anyone to think that by telling this story that I'm taking credit for Seth's success. Okay? He certainly has done most of it on his own. I would say probably like 80-90% of it, it's him. I mean, he writes his own jokes, he works... Hold on a second here. Oh, hey Seth, what's up? 95%? Alright. Yeah, no, I know no one paid to see me. Alright. Yeah, no, don't worry. It's almost over. Alright. 95% him, 5% me. So, anyway. But what I will say is life's about a series of crossroads. And, you know, we'll just say that had I not been there at that crucial time in Seth's life, we don't know. We don't know where he's going. So, Seth, you're welcome. On a serious note, it's been amazing to see Seth's rise to stardom. It's still surreal to me to watch the television, whether it's SNL or whether he hosts one of these shows, and to see him out there and to think of all the times that we spent together. But what's most impressive to me and what's most admirable is not the level of success he's achieved, but how he's handled it. And he remains, I get to see him a few times a year, whether he comes home and pick poker or I get invited to New York for a show. He's handled it with grace. He's down to earth, he's humble, just a very real person. And that only comes from one place, and that comes from a great family. And I spent more time in the Meyers household than they probably would have liked growing up. And I got to witness it firsthand. Mr. Meyers, Larry, as the Bedford Bulletin pointed out, you're certainly where the comedic gene comes from. Always laughing, family was always laughing, but a very active and loving father. Madame, a wonderful, wonderful woman, backbone of the family, And together you guys raised two incredible children, so you should be very proud of yourselves. All right, almost done here. Madame, you're retiring. I believe that I was either in your first or second class ever. Okay, 5th grade? 6th grade? 5th grade? Okay. I went on, I had French class, 6th grade. I went on to have many other years of French after that, not with Madame, but with other teachers. And it's one of those use it or lose it things. If I went to France, I could not order a croissant. I couldn't. But I do remember a song that I was taught by 6th grade Madame Meyers class. I remember it to this day. I know every word. I sing it. My kids know it. When I sing it, I pound the surface as hard as I can because that's what I did in the 6th grade. I think other teachers complained. And I think it's only fitting that as Madame exits her career, the Bedford school system, that I serenade her with her swan song. I will not sing the whole song because it would take 20 minutes. I'm just going to sing the last verse. C'est aujourd'hui lundi, c'est aujourd'hui lundi, lundi soupe. Je frappe les mains et puis je dis, oh mes camarades, bon appétit. That's the only French I know. Seriously, Madame, I wish you nothing but adventure and happiness as you embark on this new chapter of your life. And I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations. All right. Well, you're all sitting there going, I didn't pay $50 to watch this loser townie ramble. So without further ado, I just have a few more jokes to tell. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my very good friend and Bedford's own, Seth Meyers.
There we go. I gotta take Hendu on the road with me. I am not gonna have a better opener than that all year. That was fantastic. I do very clearly remember Hendu telling me that the kids I was hanging out with are losers. That was a big moment in my life. I do want to point out, all those kids eventually left Bedford. I am not surprised that Greg has such a stable and successful life as he was the vice president of my junior class. I am slightly surprised he has a successful and stable life because he had to resign that post his senior year. The story, as I remember it, was he had a math teacher he did not care for and wrote several things about her in his math book. And the next year, the student who had that book had to report it to the teacher because what he had written was so offensive it was giving her post-traumatic stress disorder to do her homework. So she turned it in, and the teacher was like, oh, there's no way I'll ever find out who wrote these things. Oh, wait, everyone puts their name in the front of a math book. Then they took it to a handwriting